God bless you. So, you'll have to excuse me, I'm somewhat tired. So, I had a dream not long ago. I have not been sure on what to say on this. I've spent many times going out into the wilderness to pray on this particular dream, because what was shown in it. So, we'll go into the dream, but after I need to go into Scripture to cross-reference certain things in regards to what was seen. Now, strangely enough, in the dream I've gone into a shop of some sort and I wanted to buy. Now, I couldn't seem to buy anything when I got to the till, and I was like, why is the person working at the till a pharmacist? And they were there, and there seemed to be a counter of things behind them of that sort of thing. Now, I never go to pharmacies anyway, so I remember going to them and asking them, so what's in this? Because obviously I done my own research. I got absolutely no intention of taking this, but just even talk to them, and do remember thinking there may have been an ounce of pride in the conversation for me to even have asked such a thing, knowing what I know. And I'm like, so what's in it that people should take it? Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, I've only come in to get some shopping. They're like, well, you need to have a certain something. Next thing I know, my arm's been hit by a certain something. And I'm like, but I never came here to take anything. How has this happened? Just even come into contact with them, they'll do what they can to give it you. What part of light has with darkness? But none at all. Or rather to expose them. Now, I'd previously had a different dream before about this sort of thing happening before, but this one, there's more to it. The place where I got it in the dream started to turn black, like black holes, lots of them around the point of entry, and it started to spread, and it was just spreading like tons and tons of black holes. So it was just jet dark black, and I've seen this exact same black in previous dreams, and I always talk about a person's hair that's a shiny black in specific other dreams I'd had. And there was the dream with the pure blackness that I'd seen, where the man went to hide and he couldn't hide because of the blackness. This blackness I've seen before, and I was like, but how has this happened? What is this spreading in me or on me? Now, in time in prayer on this, as those that have rejected, they shall be as darkness. Darkness they shall be. They will be filled with darkness, and there will be no light. And the world will be darkness, for they are darkness. And this darkness will spread, and the light will disappear and no more be. And these things shall grow, and there shall be but dark in them, and they shall all be as the dark, and the light will diminish. Now, even speaking, I feel the Holy Spirit. These are dire warning. Darkness, to be filled with darkness and to have no light within oneself, to have succumbed to darkness. those that reject God, that won't come to him, have not chosen him. So we're going to look at Scripture on darkness, to understand just how bad it is to be nothing but darkness. For I am seeing a progression in changes in people I already know in the real world. There's a bitterness, others animosity, some bitterness and anger, rage, change in personality and not for the better. There is one that looks at me with absolute vitriol. So much anger that they can't do anything without smashing their hands upon the table. Random acts of rage. People sniping over every little thing. Coming to a rage over a crumb. People not liking people that haven't had a certain something. Ailments starting to manifest in those that had something. Conditions starting to appear. Previous conditions in others starting to exacerbate and get far worse. There is an increase and a change in some. But let's look at verses on darkness. For we should be aware and walk as wise and not as unwise. To be as wise as serpents, but innocent as doves, that we may be found blameless. For there is much yet to come. So we're going to go to the book of John. Amen. And we shall go to verse 4 and 5. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except for through the Son. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. For that light to be extinguished out of someone, what a darkness it would be. For look at all the characteristics of Christ. He was humble. He was kind. He was selfless, devoted, generous, compassionate, long-suffering, understanding, abundant in mercy. The world, how could one reject such? Now, let's look at 1 John. In 1 John, we'll go to chapter 1, and we'll go to verses 5 to 6. This is the message which we have heard from him, and declare to you that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus Christ, his Son, cleanses us from all sin. Turn from all darkness. If this can manifest darkness in oneself. Don't give in to the inclinations thereof. Come to true repentance. Confess all to Christ. Do not be deceived. We know there are certain things in this. They're used as you would in a transceiver, something that receives. And the enemy is the prince of the air. And if you understand technology, airwaves, and you know how things are transmitted by airwaves. You can wirelessly transmit something to a device. If components to turn something into a device were put into something, you understand what I'm speaking of. Could they not transmit a signal, however dire, into the device? No matter what darkness they wish to transmit, could not the transceiver pick it up and put it in the device that the components are in? You understand what I speak? There is still more to come with all of this. That we are not unaware. I have been telling, don't trust in me. Do your own research. Seek and you will find. Pray, seek God's wisdom, His will in all things. Let Him be your guide. Now, there is no darkness in Christ, for He is the light. So, we trust in Jesus. That His light shine, that we can comprehend. For those that have chosen darkness, they will not comprehend it. They will not understand it, they will reject it, and they will fight it. So we need to be aware of such things. As it says in John, and then into 1 John, we see the light is in Him. He puts that light in man, and light shines in darkness. So we need to keep studying. Let's go more deeper. Let's go to Acts 26. And in Acts 26 it shall be verse 17. I will deliver you from the Jewish people as well as from the Gentiles, to whom I now send you, to open their eyes in order to turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of Satan to God, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and an inheritance among those who are sanctified by faith in me. To turn them from darkness to light. And, now the key word here is the and. It's not just darkness to light, but it's from the power of Satan to the power of God. To reject the works of the enemy. To reject his kingdom and his will. To reject him and turn from him. To seek God in all things, that his light work in you. For no darkness can remain when light is the dominant, you understand. For light exposes all things. Now we come to Ephesians, and we'll go to chapter 5. And we'll go to verse 8 of Ephesians chapter 5. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, finding out what is acceptable to the Lord, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of those things which are done by them in secret. But all things that are exposed are made manifest by light. For whatever makes manifest is light. Therefore he says, Awake you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. We need to build that relationship with God. We need to know God. Building time in prayer, seeking His will, His wisdom, His guidance, His counsel in our lives, not leaning on ourselves but trusting in Him to show us the way forward, for we are easily deceived, and the enemy is deceiving for a lot longer than we have been here on this earth, for our life is but a puff of smoke. Jesus came and gave His life to save us. For without Him we were lost. It was because of us and our sins that He had to come. It was because He took the punishment we deserved for what we have done. It's because of our sins. We need to walk in the light, for we once were darkness, but now are light in the Lord. So we must have no fellowship with darkness. If you know it to be the darkness, cast it out. Send it away from you, rebuke it in Jesus' name. Do not play with the things of the enemy. For he has given many things into this earth, into this world, and people will fight tooth and nail to justify it. But we cannot. Don't let it shackle you into sin. Don't play with divination. Do not be deceived. Do not dabble with the witchcraft and the spiritualist. Do not play with the cards for the future. Those that fly too close to the abyss will get burned. You will see things you would rather not know. You must walk as wise and not as unwise. Don't trust me, pray on it. When you spend time with God, He will show you. Whether you like it or not, that will be not for me to say, but He will show you. Now, from here, what do we learn in John chapter 3? So back to John. And we'll go to chapter 3. We shall go to verse 19. And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone practicing evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. But he who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God. There are those that love the dark to such an extent that they will hate the light. Now, the word to hate something is to be completely opposed of, to completely reject, to have complete opposition towards. So those that are consumed by dark and become as dark, they will completely reject all light. They will completely be the opposite of. They will want no part of it. What a dire warning, that they will be the darkness. The light will diminish, and they will be consumed by it, and they will be the darkness of the world. Now, we shall go to Luke, and then to Mathew. Now, where is it in Luke? It's chapter 11. Where are we? 33, I believe. Yes, the lamp of the body. Luke chapter 11. So I know where this is better when it comes to Mathew than I do Luke. So Luke 11, chapter 11, verse 33. No one, when he has lit a lamp, puts it in a secret place, or under a basket, but on a lampstand, that those who come in may see the light. The lamp of the body is the light. Sorry, I apologize. The lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, when your eye is good, your whole body also is full of light. But when your eye is bad, your body also is full of darkness. Therefore, take heed that the light which is in you is not darkness. If then your whole body is full of light, having no part dark, the whole body will be full of light, as when the bright shining of a lamp gives you light. You walk as the light, you live as the light. You are the light in the dark, to shine against the darkness, to warn people from it, so they do not crash, as the lamp upon the lighthouse. It shines so that the boat may travel safely, lest it crash upon the rocks. So we are to live as the light. Now in Mathew chapter 6, we're going to look at verse 22-23. Where are we? Here we are. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? People reject God, and they choose darkness over light. And they let that which fills them with darkness, that they become as darkness. How great is that darkness? Think about the things you are aware of with those that oppose God. Are you aware of how open now it is on the television? How they don't hide their blasphemy. How they don't hide their mocking and scoffing. How they openly show their affiliation. For we're in the time when knowledge will abound. Are you aware of the signs and the symbols they use to show their affiliation? Are you aware of the adverts? The skateboard made with human blood now. The trainer with a drop of human blood and 3 sixes on it. And a pentagram. Are you aware of the candy bar? They are advertising with a Ouija board. You heard that correctly. Darkness. Are you aware of the upside down star formation of the people for the type of trainer? Or how about the dating site that used Satan as the ideal dating candidate? Indeed. Or the one that used Satan to get a job for a job recruitment site. This is just a slight few things spoken. Or what about the awards ceremonies for all the actors and actresses? And the man stood on the stage and said that all of them, like little ones, and they were all friends with a man that had an island where he brought all of them to play with little ones. You understand what I'm talking about and what man we speak. We know the little man with glasses has been there many a time. If you dig deeper, you'll find he was funding that man as well, among other things, and he wants all of you to take a certain something. Do not be unwise, but study, seek, and you'll find. There is much to learn, and once you know the works of the enemy, you expose it, but you have no fellowship with it. You do not walk in darkness. Don't let this darkness consume you. Don't become a part of it. Whatever is to come is to come, but we stand steadfast. We build our foundation on rock and not on sand. For just as Jesus said in Mathew chapter 5 from verse 13, you are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its flavour, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing, but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand. And it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Keep praying. Keep praying for your loved ones. Keep praying for those in the powers and authority. Keep praying that God's will be done, that His kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Keep praying for God's will in your lives. Don't give up. And when you feel tired and you can't go on, remember Mathew 11, verses 28 to 30. You come to Jesus and He will give you rest for your souls. Learn from Him, for His yoke is light. Love one another as He loved you. John 15, verse 12. Be the light. Love one another. Put God first in your life. Love Him with all your heart, your mind, and your strength. And the second is like it. Love your neighbour as yourself. That means to treat not just your neighbour, but the stranger as you would yourself. Think of the Good Samaritan. selfless and devoted, loving and kind and compassionate. Look for the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians chapter 5. Pray for these to shine greatly in you, that you can glorify God before men. You can lead others to Christ. From verse 22 of chapter 5 Galatians. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. And those who are Christ's have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. So, let that love shine in you. Walk in the Spirit, not the flesh. Don't fear these things. Cling to God and trust in Him. He is your shield, your fortress, your shelter, your shield in your constancy. Who should you be afraid of when you have God by your side? He will be with you every step of the way. He will encourage, He will strengthen, He will guide. Believe in Him and seek Him. Pray that He shine His face upon you and bring you peace. Don't lose your way now. You've come too far. Help show people the error of their ways. In previous videos I've shown what information I could as carefully as I could. We know what this stuff is, and it is not good. Be aware. Educate. Because in education, once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. It's like riding a bike. You now know how to do it. Same as when you learn how to cook. Oh, well, I have to cook this food correctly, otherwise food poisoning. So every time you would cook, you'd always make sure it was cooked enough so that it was safe. You wouldn't risk it being unsafe. If you knew something was not cooked correctly and was unsafe to eat, knowing that it would lead to food poisoning, knowing the effects of food poisoning, which are diarrhea and vomiting, would you still go and eat what you knew could cause you food poisoning? And that's just a simple form of explanation. You get what I'm talking about. So, you can see countless information of those shaking, those bleeding, those of various rashes and conditions. Or what about those dying? And there's countless of them. There are even videos where you watch them as they go. There's no joy, no pleasure to know that these things are happening. For we know the world is dark, for the days are evil, but we do not shrink back. We stand forth praying that we may speak as boldly as we ought, with compassion, with love, with humility and humbleness and kindness, long-suffering. For there will be those that will mock and scoff, those that will put you to the test, those with various demons, whether they know it or not, because they love the darkness, not the light. And darkness will always be in opposition of the light. But light exposes darkness. So darkness hides in the shadows. Don't let there be any shadows in your life. Let the lamp of the body shine bright as God work in you through the power of the Holy Spirit. Love God with all your heart. Seek Him continually. keep building that relationship. There are still more things to come. There have been many dreams on many things, but it is on Scripture. No, I can explain far better. I pray we all stand steadfast in these days, that we be faithful unto the end, that we may be worthy of the kingdom of God and receive the crown of eternal life. God bless every one of you.